Now he owes, I'm going to say in a short way, at least 80,000, if not 180,000.
The hip-hop world was shaken when Jim Jones publicly went at 50 Cent and G-Unit. Social media exploded overnight. Some clips of his comments went viral, racking up millions of views in hours. But while fans were busy debating, insiders whispered that this clash wasn't entirely one-sided. Sources close to the situation claim that Jim Jones may have underestimated the influence of G-Unit's network, which reportedly rallied quickly after the comments. Meanwhile, 50 Cent, known for his strategic approach to public feuds, didn't respond immediately, sparking speculation that he was planning the perfect comeback. Online forums lit up with reactions ranging from shock to outright ridicule, with some saying Jim Jones overstepped and others defending him as bold and unapologetic. What makes this even more intense is the timing. Some industry insiders suggest that tensions have been simmering behind the scenes for months, deals, past disas, and unresolved rivalries all adding fuel. Real or speculative, the perception alone has caused ripples. Fans are dissecting every word, every post, every gesture, trying to figure out if this is a calculated move or the beginning of a major fallout. By the end of this, the question isn't just about who won the exchange, it's about what this moment reveals about loyalty, strategy, and survival in the modern rap game. One thing is clear, this drama isn't fading anytime soon, and the aftermath could change alliances in ways nobody expected. By the time the clips of Jim Jones going at 50 Cent and G-Unit started circulating, the internet was already buzzing. Fans, critics, and insiders immediately began dissecting every frame, every word, and every gesture. Was Jim Jones intentionally provoking? Was this a calculated business move? Or was he letting emotions dictate a response that could have long-term consequences? To understand the weight of this moment, you need to look at the history. Jim Jones and 50 Cent have had a complicated relationship for years. From subtle jabs in songs to social media exchanges, their interactions have always had an undercurrent of tension. Some moments were playful, some aggressive, and some carried the unmistakable tension of unspoken grudges. But this latest incident felt different. It felt public, raw, and unavoidable. The stakes were higher than ever, and everyone watching knew it. Social media didn't take long to react. TikTok clips of the exchange exploded, drawing millions of views. Instagram comments were flooded with opinions, memes, and heated arguments. Some fans defended Jim Jones, praising him for speaking his mind and refusing to be intimidated by G-Unit's legacy. Others criticized him, claiming he had overstepped and underestimated 50 Cent's influence and network. The debate wasn't just about words, it became a battle over credibility, street respect, and who really holds power in the rap industry. Insiders say that G-Unit's camp moved quickly behind the scenes. While 50 Cent remained silent publicly, the group allegedly coordinated responses on social media, subtly countering Jim Jones' narrative without escalating the conflict in public. Timing, as always, plays a crucial role in hip-hop feuds. A poorly timed response can backfire, while a calculated pause can make the opponent appear impulsive or reckless. Fans speculated endlessly. Was Jim Jones' public outburst impulsive or part of a broader strategy to reassert himself in the scene? Beyond the online chatter, this situation has roots in deeper industry dynamics. Hip-hop is more than music, it's relationships, alliances, and influence. Deals made years ago, collaborations that didn't pan out, and past slights all add layers to the drama. What appears on camera or in tweets is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, tensions simmer quietly, and insiders often hint at power moves that the public doesn't see. Jim Jones stepping forward like this exposed cracks in alliances and triggered questions about loyalty, influence, and how veteran artists assert authority in a rapidly changing industry. Even within Jim Jones' own circle, the reactions were mixed. Some supporters cheered his boldness, claiming he was unafraid to challenge a group like G-Unit directly. Others were concerned, warning that targeting someone with 50 Cent's reach and reputation could have personal and professional repercussions. Social media amplified every warning, comment, and reaction, creating a pressure cooker of attention that left no room for mistakes. It's also worth noting the timing. Rumors suggest that there have been simmering issues behind the scenes for months. Business disagreements, past music disses, and unresolved personal tensions may have been quietly escalating, waiting for the right, or wrong, moment to explode publicly. When Jim Jones finally made his move, it wasn't just words. It was the eruption of months, if not years, of subtle conflicts and unspoken frustrations. And the audience, hungry for drama, immediately treated it as a defining moment in hip-hop. The media's response added another layer. Headlines screamed about humiliation, backfire, and rivalry. Analysts debated whether this was a strategic play or a reckless misstep. Every video clip, comment, and reaction was dissected for hidden meanings, with journalists and bloggers trying to piece together a timeline of tension, motives, and consequences. For fans, it was like watching a live chess match unfold in real time, except the stakes were pride, influence, and street credibility rather than a simple win or loss. Meanwhile, Jim Jones' history and reputation amplified the impact. Known for his bold personality and willingness to speak out, his actions rarely go unnoticed. But he has also faced criticism before for letting emotions dictate public statements. Some questioned whether this was another impulsive move or part of a calculated plan to assert relevance in a competitive scene. And in hip-hop, relevance is everything. When you challenge someone with 50 Cent's legacy, the consequences ripple far beyond the initial post or clip. On the flip side, 50 Cent's silence only fueled speculation. In hip-hop culture, silence is a weapon just as powerful as words. It allows the audience to project interpretations, keeps opponents uncertain, and often increases anticipation for a calculated response. Fans quickly noticed the tension between the loud outburst from Jim Jones and the deliberate quiet from G-Unit. That contrast sparked debates about who is really in control of the narrative, with some claiming that 50 Cent's restraint signaled superior strategy, while others argued that Jim Jones had already shifted the public perception in his favor. Adding to the drama, social media didn't just amplify reactions, it created its own narrative. Memes, TikToks, YouTube reaction videos, and fan threads spun alternative explanations, some bordering on speculation, others rooted in fact. A single video clip could be interpreted multiple ways depending on context, editing, and audience perspective. Within hours, the incident became bigger than either artist alone, dominating conversations in hip-hop communities across platforms and even spilling into mainstream media. But beyond the clicks and memes, the stakes are personal. When public figures attack each other, it's rarely just entertainment. It's reputation, relationships, and influence. Jim Jones' decision to go at 50 Cent and G-Unit publicly may have been bold, but it carried inherent risk. One misstep could alienate allies, create tension within his circle, or even provoke retaliation from unexpected quarters. And in a world where perception often equals power, controlling how your narrative unfolds is crucial. While fans argued online, industry insiders quietly analyzed the fallout. Strategic alliances, upcoming releases, and personal relationships were all scrutinized. Many believed this feud could influence decisions for months, impacting collaborations, appearances, and even business partnerships. Every action, every post, every public comment became part of a larger web of cause and effect that could define careers. And that's the reality of modern hip-hop. What seems like a simple clash between two figures is actually a complex interplay of influence, history, and timing. Public statements, videos, and comments are just the visible part of a much larger, ongoing story. For Jim Jones, this moment might be a gamble. For 50 Cent and G-Unit, it's a test of strategy and patience. For fans, it's a dramatic spectacle that feeds conversation and keeps the culture alive with debates, reactions, and speculation. By now, the initial shock had evolved into deeper questions. Who holds real power? Who controls perception? And who will emerge stronger when the dust settles? The answers aren't simple. But one thing is clear, this clash has become more than a feud. It's a masterclass in influence, timing, and the power of public persona in hip-hop. And as we continue to dissect every angle, one fact remains undeniable. This situation is far from over, and the ripple effects of Jim Jones' decision to publicly challenge 50 Cent and G-Unit will be felt across the industry for weeks, if not months. By now, the fallout from Jim Jones publicly targeting 50 Cent and G-Unit had begun rippling through the hip-hop world. Social media was saturated with reactions. Every tweet, TikTok clip, and Instagram post dissected for hidden meaning. Fans were split into camps, some defending Jones for his boldness, others criticizing him for overstepping. But beyond the online spectacle, industry insiders say the stakes were far more serious than the public realized. Sources suggest that behind closed doors, G-Unit's camp was already mobilizing. While 50 Cent remained publicly silent, he was reportedly coordinating a multi-layered response. Strategically, silence can be as loud as words. By waiting, 50 Cent ensured that any response would appear deliberate, calculated, and measured, heightening the impact when it eventually comes. Meanwhile, Jim Jones' team was scrambling to manage the sudden surge of attention. Some close to Jones allegedly feared that this public clash might jeopardize future collaborations, sponsorships, and media appearances. The timing of the feud added fuel to the fire. Rumors claim that tensions had been simmering for months. Old business disputes, past music dissos, and personal grudges resurfaced just as Jones' latest move went public. Some insiders hint that Jones may have deliberately chosen this moment, knowing that social media amplification would maximize visibility. Others suggest it was impulsive, a mix of frustration and ego. Regardless, the decision to go public guaranteed headlines. Fans reacted instantaneously. TikTok videos broke down every word Jones said, some stretching clips to highlight minor gestures or expressions. Twitter exploded with threads dissecting his tone, phrasing, and possible intentions. YouTube reaction channels churned out videos analyzing body language and speculating on potential retaliation from G-Unit. Memes flooded the platforms, portraying Jones in both heroic and humiliating lights. Within hours, the feud had become a cultural spectacle, transcending the personal rivalry and turning into a public narrative about power, reputation, and influence in hip-hop. Some insiders hint that this feud may have deeper roots than the public knows. There are whispers about past collaborations that didn't materialize, investments gone wrong, and personal disagreements between members of the two camps. These unresolved issues, while speculative, offer context for why emotions may have been heightened. Whether these claims are entirely accurate is unclear, but they provide a lens through which to understand the magnitude of the situation. What makes this moment even more critical is the contrast in public personas. Jim Jones has always been outspoken, willing to confront rivals head-on. His brand is built on boldness and bravado, which resonates with certain segments of fans. But 50 Cent operates differently. He's known for his strategic patience, letting moments simmer while calculating the perfect response. That dynamic, impulsivity versus calculation, added tension to an already volatile situation. Fans online immediately picked up on it, framing the feud as a battle of strategy and wit, not just words. Meanwhile, the impact on social media influencers and news outlets was immediate. Reaction videos, breakdowns, and opinion pieces flooded platforms. Some outlets framed Jones' comments as a humiliating misstep, claiming he had underestimated G-Unit's influence. Others portrayed him as courageous, challenging one of hip-hop's most powerful figures publicly. The divergence of narratives demonstrates how public perception in modern music culture can be as influential as the actual events themselves. Inside the industry, the stakes were tangible. Record label executives, promoters, and collaborators were reportedly monitoring every move. Some suggested that this feud could affect upcoming projects, including potential tours, collaborations, and label deals. While no concrete evidence suggests immediate financial consequences, the perception alone is enough to create ripple effects across business relationships. In hip-hop, reputation can directly impact profitability, making public conflicts a high-stakes gamble. One speculative angle that fueled fan discussion was the rumored involvement of mutual acquaintances and street connections. Some insiders claim that friends and associates of both camps were quietly attempting to mediate, aiming to prevent escalation. Whether this is true or just a narrative constructed by fans to add intrigue, it illustrates how the feud is perceived as larger than a simple dispute. It's a reflection of networks, influence, and power structures in the hip-hop ecosystem. Adding to the tension is the historical context. 50 Cent and G-Unit have a legacy of responding decisively to challenges. Their silence in the immediate aftermath left fans speculating endlessly, creating a vacuum filled with theories, memes, and speculation. For Jim Jones, that vacuum initially worked in his favor, amplifying his perceived boldness. But industry insiders caution that such victories are temporary unless followed by calculated follow-ups. The psychological effect on fans has been notable. Social media sentiment analysis showed spikes in both positive and negative engagement for Jim Jones' profiles. Supporters praised his audacity, while detractors questioned his judgment. The intensity of reactions illustrates the emotional investment that audiences place in hip-hop rivalries, turning personal disputes into global spectacles. Interestingly, some speculated that this feud could influence broader cultural trends. Hip-hop has a history of using public disputes to catalyze collaborations, drive streams, and increase relevance. While this may not have been Jim Jones' explicit intent, the result aligns with patterns seen in the industry. Visibility often trumps caution, and controversy drives engagement. Despite the drama, there are also indications of behind-the-scenes negotiations. Some industry sources claim that representatives from both camps have met privately to discuss terms, potential collaborations, and conflict resolution. While no official statements confirm these meetings, the speculation itself adds layers to the narrative, keeping audiences engaged and invested. On the digital front, the feud's virality has created opportunities and risks. Memes and reaction content drive engagement, but misrepresentation can distort facts. Fans are often exposed to selective clips that emphasize drama, potentially magnifying perceived tension beyond reality. For Jim Jones, navigating this landscape requires careful messaging and media management to maintain credibility while leveraging visibility. Some insiders have even suggested that this feud could redefine relationships within the New York rap scene. Alliances may shift subtly as artists and executives assess loyalty, influence, and power. Public conflicts, particularly high-profile ones, often serve as signals to the community about who can be trusted, who has influence, and who may be vulnerable. This speculation, whether entirely factual or not, highlights how one public dispute can ripple across the ecosystem, affecting decisions far beyond the individuals directly involved. Moreover, the feud illustrates the balance between persona and strategy. Jim Jones' aggressive public stance reinforces his image as fearless and unapologetic, appealing to certain fan demographics. Yet, his boldness comes with risks. Miscalculations could alienate. As the feud unfolded, rumors and insider leaks, some credible, others speculative, fueled debate. Sources claimed that 50 Cent was considering a strategic response, possibly involving music, social media, or collaborations. Others suggested that G-Unit might adopt a silent approach, letting Jones' actions speak for themselves and allowing public perception to dictate outcomes. These conflicting reports kept fans engaged, illustrating the complex web of information, strategy, and speculation surrounding high-profile disputes. Ultimately, this situation underscores a fundamental truth about hip-hop culture: influence extends beyond music. Reputation, strategic moves, and public perception can impact careers, collaborations, and even personal safety. Jim Jones' decision to go public against 50 Cent and G-Unit placed him in the spotlight, exposing him to both opportunity and risk. How he navigates the aftermath will likely define his standing in the industry for months to come. The broader takeaway is clear. In the modern rap game, public feuds are rarely just about ego. They're about strategy, perception, and influence. Whether Jim Jones' move will cement his position, damage relationships, or spark further conflicts remains to be seen. But one thing is undeniable. The drama has captivated audiences, inspired analysis, and left the hip-hop community buzzing with speculation. And as the story continues to unfold, fans, insiders, and artists alike will be watching every move, every post, and every statement. Because in a world where visibility equates to power, how you respond in moments of high tension can redefine your career, your alliances, and your legacy. And as the story continued to unfold, one thing became clear. The feud between Jim Jones and 50 Cent/G-Unit was about more than just ego. It was a test of strategy, loyalty, and influence in modern hip-hop. Fans, insiders, and industry observers alike were watching closely, analyzing every subtle move, post, and reaction. After days of social media frenzy, speculation began to shift. Analysts and fans noticed that while Jim Jones had taken the offensive publicly, 50 Cent remained calm and strategic. Silence, it seemed, was a deliberate choice. Some insiders suggest that 50 Cent had quietly assessed the situation, coordinating with his G-Unit members and affiliates to manage perception, protect relationships, and prevent unnecessary escalation. The calculated restraint was a lesson in modern conflict management, showing that sometimes power is displayed not by words, but by measured absence. Meanwhile, Jim Jones' bold public stance had both consequences and benefits. On one hand, it reminded fans of his fearless persona and willingness to speak out, qualities that built his reputation in the first place. On the other hand, insiders warn that the public attack may have burned some bridges behind the scenes, making future collaborations riskier. Industry veterans often emphasize that in hip-hop, relationships are currency, and while visibility can increase popularity, missteps can cost credibility. Fans were not silent observers. Social media was flooded with commentary, memes, and reaction videos. Many praised Jones' audacity, calling his statements iconic and fearless. Others criticized him, claiming he underestimated G-Unit's influence and the potential consequences of publicly confronting a figure like 50 Cent. TikTok and Instagram became battlegrounds for fan debates, with clips dissected frame by frame to interpret gestures, tone, and hidden meanings. This fan-driven analysis amplified the drama, turning a private dispute into a cultural spectacle. Adding fuel to the fire, rumors of behind-the-scenes mediation surfaced. Some sources claimed that mutual acquaintances were working to prevent escalation, possibly negotiating a resolution before the feud spiraled further. While these claims are unconfirmed, they highlight a crucial aspect of high-profile conflicts. Public perception is only one layer, and private negotiations often shape the real outcome. The tension between public drama and private strategy creates a complex narrative, keeping audiences engaged while insiders quietly manage the stakes. Speculative sources also suggested potential responses from 50 Cent and G-Unit. While nothing official emerged immediately, fans predicted musical disses, subtle social media jabs, or strategic collaborations designed to assert dominance without overtly escalating tension. Even if these moves never materialize, the anticipation alone drove engagement, keeping the feud relevant and feeding speculation about the balance of power. What this feud truly underscores is the evolving nature of influence in hip-hop. It's not just about who can spit the hardest verse or drop the most streams. Reputation, timing, alliances, and strategy are equally important. Jim Jones' decision to confront 50 Cent publicly displayed courage and audacity, but also exposed the delicate interplay between visibility and risk. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's measured response, or lack thereof, demonstrates that in certain circumstances, restraint can be more powerful than confrontation. Over the following weeks, both camps maintained a careful balance. Jim Jones continued engaging fans online, subtly reminding the public of his position, while avoiding overt provocation. G-Unit and 50 Cent remained largely quiet, allowing the narrative to simmer and giving fans time to interpret the events as they saw fit. Analysts suggest that this approach minimized unnecessary backlash, while reinforcing long-term credibility for both parties. The feud also had broader cultural implications. Industry insiders point out that public disputes like this influence more than just the individuals involved. They set examples for younger artists, affect collaboration dynamics, and even impact how labels, promoters, and sponsors approach relationships. Every statement, reaction, and silence is scrutinized, and careers are often shaped by the perception of how one handles conflict. In the end, the Jim Jones versus 50 Cent G-Unit clash became a case study in modern hip-hop dynamics: boldness versus strategy, visibility versus restraint, and public perception versus private reality. Fans will continue debating who won, but the truth is more nuanced. The situation highlighted the importance of timing, influence, and the subtle management of public and private narratives. As the dust settled, one lesson stood out. In the world of hip-hop, power is not only measured in hits and streams, it's also measured in how effectively an artist navigates drama. Jim Jones made a statement, commanding attention and reinforcing his persona, while 50 Cent demonstrated that silence and strategic patience can be just as powerful. The feud may fade from headlines, but the lessons for the industry, the culture, and fans are long-lasting. And while fans may never get the full story behind the scenes, one thing is undeniable: this clash will be remembered not just for the drama it created, but for the strategic and cultural ripples it sent throughout hip-hop. Every public move, every reaction, and every interpretation became part of a larger narrative about power, influence, and survival in the modern rap game, a story that continues to echo in the community even as the immediate headlines fade. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't just another rap feud. It's a lesson in strategy, influence, and survival in the modern hip-hop world. Jim Jones went public, 50 Cent stayed silent, and the drama that followed has kept fans talking nonstop. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Did Jim Jones overstep, or did he make a bold, unforgettable move that reminded the culture who he is? Will 50 Cent's silence prove smarter in the long run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's settle this debate once and for all. If you want more deep dives like this, breaking down the drama, analyzing the moves behind the headlines, and uncovering what really happens behind closed doors, hit that like button. Everything helps this video reach more fans who want the real story, not just gossip. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you're the first to see part 4 if this feud escalates or any other major hip-hop drama. Share this video with your friends, tag someone who follows the culture closely, and join the discussion. This isn't just entertainment, it's understanding how influence, strategy, and timing work in hip-hop. Remember, in this game, every move counts. Your voice matters too. Comment, like, share, and let's keep this conversation going. The drama may fade, but the lessons last forever.